In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get started hosting your websites with Cloudways. Not only that, I'll also show you how you can get a domain name and then finally point it to your server that is at Cloudways. Before we get started, I want to tell you that this video is part of a complete WordPress tutorial that I created showing you how to build a complete WordPress website from scratch using free resources. If you want to check that out, please check out the link right down in the description of this video. In this tutorial, I want to show you the tech setup that I'm actually using. I am getting my domains from Hostinger and I'm hosting my website with Cloudways. And in this case, I have all my websites currently running on Cloudways and I'm having this package over here, which is $50 a month. And my server is having 4 gigs of RAM, 2 cores of the processor and 80 gigs of RAM and 80 gigs of storage and 4 terabytes. And obviously, I'm able to have unlimited websites on this package. Now, I'll be very honest, ever since I moved my websites to Cloudways, I have witnessed a significant change in the performance of my websites. Now, I am not saying that websites hosted on Hostinger don't perform really well, but there has been a significant change when I started hosting with Cloudways, where I'm able to set up my server, core, the processor, and all that stuff. So in a nutshell, I highly recommend both the two services, but in this tutorial, I'll be using Hostinger to get my domain. So I'll come here to domain, search for a domain, and then add or look up for a domain that I want to use. In this case, I want to use draindoctors.com. So search for this. Now this looks like it is already taken. So what am I going to do? I'll just use this other option for this tutorial. So I'll simply add this to the cart. By the way, I already have a Hostinger account. So once I'm logged in, I have this kind of interface here. Then what I have to do is say, buy the domain. I just want to have this for 1 year. And I'm going to say, choose a payment method. You can see that I'm only going to spend about, $1.17 just to get the domain. So I'm going to say, pay with PayPal. I'll enter my PayPal email and password, agree and pay. I'll finish the registration by using my existing profile. I'll say continue. I don't want to have web hosting. Of course, I need the web hosting, but in this case, I'll not be using the Hostinger web hosting services. And now we have our domain and it is active. And now we can point this domain to our hosting. Like I've told you already that I have my hosting with Cloudways and mine goes for $50 a month, which is 4 GB, 2 core processor, 80 GB of storage and 4 TB of bandwidth. I also have unlimited application installations. I mean, I can install as many WordPress websites as I want. I have all these other features. I'll be able to install a free SSL and all these packages over here, you are able to install a free SSL. So when I come back here to Cloudways, you see that I have an active server running and currently I have 15 websites running on this server. So like I told you already that once you sign up with Cloudways, you get a server or this server setup. For my case, my server is 4 GB. You can get one for 2 GB or even 1 GB depending on the budget that you're looking forward to. But this server will vary based on the performance and the tech setup of the server. So we are going to add applications, or I can just simply switch from servers to applications, and right over here all my applications will be listed, including my personal website is hosted on Cloudways, which is gotechug.com. So what I'm going to do is say add an application. I'll select a server. Remember I told you that if you have more than one servers, they will be listed inside the servers area here. But in this case, I have only one server. So I'll select my server. I'll say add an application. I'll select the kind of application or type of application that I want. I want a WordPress application, but you can install directly a WooCommerce application, a PHP application, a Laravel application if you are into development. So I'll select WordPress, but I want to use a clean, no Cloudways optimization application. Install. I'll name my application Drain Doctors. It can actually vary, can be a different name like Drain Doc. It doesn't really have to be the name of the website, but for identification purposes. Now this will take me about 2 minutes to have my application set up. Now, what does the setup process involve? What Cloudways is doing now is to install WordPress on my server, just like Softaclass or even Hostinga does right inside the cPanel, where you just simply say, create a new WordPress website, and boom, you have the WordPress website installed, and also you have the database created. This is what Cloudways is doing at the moment as well. So now I see DrainDoc has been installed. I can now come back here to my applications and go down here. I'll see something called DrainDoc. Now here are my application details. In this case, you have the application URL, which is the URL that you can use to access your application. This is like a real working, website already. So if I click on go to the application, we have this subdomain which has been created by Cloudways, and it has installed a fresh install of WordPress. Now, if I want to log into my application, I come back over here. I can just simply go and copy my username and copy the password. Then I can get into my application. I can click over here to the admin panel. Now, this will take me to the WP-admin dashboard, where I'm able to add my username. So come to Cloudways, copy my username, simply click, come here, add the username, come back to Cloudways, copy the password and add the password there and login. Now this will take me to the back end of WordPress, and I have access now to my website and start creating from scratch. Now most people are afraid to check out Cloudways and to set up your own server, but that's as simple as it is. Like a few clicks here and there, you have your server active, add your application, and you are good to go. Back now here to Cloudways. Remember, we bought our domain. So how do we point our domain to our Cloudways application? So inside Cloudways, with your application selected, in this case it is DrainDoc, I'm going to come down below here to domain management. You see that we already have a subdomain which was created by Cloudways, and we can for the meantime use this subdomain as we create our website, make all the changes, and even share the URL to our clients and all that stuff. But if you have a custom domain, this is how you add your custom domain right within Cloudways. So just say add a domain, and here I'll have to add a link of my domain. So here is my domain under Hostinga. I come back here to my Cloudways account, paste my domain, and then say add a domain. Now we will have to go back to Hostinga so that we can point to our server's IP address, and that way our domain will be able to work with our WordPress application on our server in Cloudways. So how do you get your server's IP address in Cloudways? You come here to access details, and you see we have this public IP address. Copy that. Then come here to Hostinga, and then we have a section that says DNS/name servers. Click over there. Now we are going to choose the A record, which is pointing to our website in this case. So I'll leave this as it is, or with the @ symbol, and then it points to this IP address, and I'll leave this time to live on the default. So I'll say add a record. This is only applying to our domain called draindoctors.online. Now when you come here to our records and we look at the A records, you see that we have the A record which is pointing to our root domain, which is pointed to this server, and that's it. So now we go back to Cloudways, and we are going to make our draindoctors.online as our primary domain, so we don't use this subdomain that was created using Cloudways. So we're going to say make primary, set as primary. Looks good. Now let's try to visit this website. So just copy the URL, and I will go straight here and paste draindoctors.com. You see that it is not yet pointing to our application or our WordPress website installed. Now this may take up to 72 hours for the domain to propagate, so don't worry if it's not working right now. In my case, it took me about 3 hours to have my domain pointing back here to my server via the A record. And when I come back here to Cloudways, I am able now to use my domain using the URL draindoctors.online, and also my username and password. Now I'm able to log into WordPress. However, before we go into logging into WordPress, let's install an SSL certificate. And the good thing is that Cloudways gives us the possibility to add a free SSL using the free encrypt SSL certificate. So come here to SSL certificate and make sure that you enable the Let's Encrypt certificate. Add the domain that you want to install the SSL or where you want your SSL certificate to work with. So we have the first one, which is the root domain, and also the subdomain that starts with www.draindoctors.online. We want to enable that this certificate auto renews every after 90 days. So you make sure that is enabled and then save changes. That way we have installed an SSL certificate on our website, and we will forget about that because Cloudways will take responsibility of updating and renewing our SSL certificate. Now we can visit our website, reload back again, and you see that now we have our website pointed to draindoctors.com, and this is the WordPress install that we have currently. Even when we check into our SSL certificate details, it shows that this website is secure and the certificate is valid, and we're actually using the Let's Encrypt certificate or the Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. Great, now let's go and log into the back end of our website. So by coming to draindoctors.online/wp-admin, this should be able to take us to the login page for WordPress. Come back here to Cloudways, copy the username, paste it here, come back, copy the password, and paste it right over here. Then we say login. As it logs in, I want to show you that if you want to view the password, just click over here and then you view the password. Alternatively, you can make changes to the password and create your own password, but I prefer to use the default settings for now. Now back here to our website, we are fully logged into the dashboard. Thank you so much for watching. I hope now you have an idea on how you can get started hosting your websites with Cloudways, as well as getting a domain name and pointing it to your Cloudways server. I have to mention that all the resources and links mentioned in this video are linked down in the description of this video, so please check that out. My name is Hamza, your host as usual, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. Have a good time and see you in the next one.